Yeah. Feels so good to be back. R.E.I. till I die. I wonder what's gonna happen this year though. Yeah. Hey, turn me up. Let's get it. Come on. R.E.I. till I came from the city where we hustle. Gotta use way more than your muscle. Had to make it all happen and get out the struggle. Had to jeopardize it all, wasn't nothing subtle. Had to make a move, had to do something, had to prove something. All these haters in the city, boy, I had to move something. Spike Lee, I just did it. Just like Young Jeezy, let's get it. First time go around, hit him with the 4K in the pocket. Assignment fee out the gate, no option. Right after that 6K, I'm rocking. D4D all day, don't knocking. RVM and hit him with the text blast. Yeah, a lot of ups and downs like Six Flags. Yeah, it's hard work and it ain't never perfect. But out of everything I try, yeah, it's more than worth it. But look, to this bag, now you know I'm getting it. Why they all talking, yeah, you know I'm living it. Thinking I'ma lose, I know y'all belligerent. Reppin' to the state, I know it's a privilege. I know it's a privilege. Ain't nothing even close, ain't nothing even near to this. Boy, I've been the truth, I'm so sincere to this. Created my way, get out the way like Ludacris. Coming from the middle with a map, call my bird on my hat. Yeah, they thought that I would kill him with the strap, but I'm killing with the single family flat. P.I.T.I. living so creative, I kill him with the rap. Have to bring it back, totally driven into the max. I ain't going back, I just be giving you all the facts. I just wanna live my life, be remembered for what I did. And for years, they been calling some musical artifact. Gut jack back like Machiavelli, resurrected, getting hot in here like Melly. Never listen to a single word they tell me. I'll buy that land, that house, that telly, that apartment, that mall, that block, don't test me. Recession of COVID, it don't affect me. Don't disrespect me. Welcome to EMD. R.E.I. till I die. It's R.E.I. till I die. R.E.I. till I die. It's R.E.I. till I die.
Boom. G'day guys, welcome to the Thunder from Down Under podcast. I'm your host Graham Solomon. We've had some technical issues. I've got our special guest, Dutch Jackson, trying to get into the studio at the moment. So just bear with us. We've just watched one of his songs, REI Till I Die film clip, which is a pretty awesome song. So yeah, if you can just bear with us. Here he is. He's in the green room. He's listening to a bit of AC/DC, I think. I'll just bring him in. Dutch, how you going? Can you hear me?
How's it going, man?
Not too bad. I was actually going to say that we were a bit delayed because we were having a battle out in the car park. We were rapping against each other, but we had a few technical problems. So great to have you in here.
Good to have you, man. I'm still trying to get some light together, man.
You get yourself together. I'm just going to introduce you.
Okay.
You're known as the People's Poet, the Sound of St. Louis, the Dallas Dreamweaver, the Texas Sound Ranger, and over in Australia, the Aussie Alpha. So these are some of your titles, and that's from your music genre. But also you're also a real estate investor and a JV specialist. So that's this is predominantly a real estate station, but we want to actually ask you from the start how you got into real estate and how it evolved and morphed into the real estate music and where you are now. So if you can sort of take us through a bit of a journey, bit of an introduction, and we've been a bit sort of on the fly here. So I just want to say thank you for coming in, and it's a pleasure to have you in here.
No problem at all, man. I've been in the corporate world for the past 10 years working in the airline industry. And a couple years ago, 2019, man, I got laid off, and it's very common in the corporate world, in the airline industry, to get laid off. So I got laid off. But before I got laid off, one of my employees was telling me about wholesaling houses. He actually came to me. He was like, "Mr. Jackson, I'm quitting. I'm getting $20,000 on this real estate deal I've done." And I'm like, this guy's like 20 years old. I'm like, what? What do you mean you getting $20,000 on a real estate deal? So he was like, "Man, you need to look up wholesaling." And I was like, wholesaling? He was like, "Yeah, look up wholesaling houses on YouTube." So I started looking up wholesaling houses, and this was like 4 months before I got laid off. I started looking it up and it really intrigued me because I've always looked for a hustle. I've always been a hustler, hustling little things, selling on eBay. And I wanted something, I always wanted to look for just some extra money. So I started looking up wholesaling houses, man, and it intrigued me. I was like, so you telling me you can get a property under contract with under a purchase agreement, a piece of paper, and flip this piece of paper? And I found out, and I saw one of my friends in Facebook, my guy named Chris Moreau, he was talking about it. And I texted him, I said, is this real? And he just sent me back some screenshots of some of the checks he cashed. I was just like, holy this is crazy. I have to try this. So long story short, I ended up getting laid off. But before I got laid off, I started diving in deep with it. So when I got laid off, I had already had a little traction, and 4 months after I got laid off, I ended up doing my first wholesale deal. I got a property under contract in Dallas, Texas. Didn't know how to fill out the purchase agreement. I was actually looking at a tutorial on my phone while I was filling it out, and I got the deal from door knocking, driving for dollars. Actually, this one wasn't door knocking. This was driving for dollars. I was driving through Dallas, saw this property, looked like a sore thumb in a nice neighborhood, grass high, roof looked old. End up skip tracing the person, calling them up, and they were ready to go. Went to his house that he currently lived in, put him on a purchase agreement, then started looking for buyers. I started calling, we buy houses signs. That's the first way you start getting buyers because you don't know about getting buyers or anything like that. I started calling, we buy houses sign. I Googled we buy houses Dallas, start calling around. Ended up meeting a more seasoned investor, and he helped me JV the deal. I JV with him and made $4,000 my first time, and it just liberated me, and it's been on ever since, man.
And at that stage, Dutch, like when you first started watching YouTube, and then when you actually went out there with your purchase and sales agreement, was there much of a gap there, or was that pretty much straight away you started looking into it, and then bang, this property come up?
Straight away. The way I've always been, man, I dive straight in. I don't do analysis paralysis. I learn as I go. A lot of people start studying things and they study it for years or months before they do it. Man, the best way to learn is through experience. So I just, like I said, I didn't even know how to fill out the purchase and sale agreement when I did it. so
you just took action. Man, you just took some action, got straight into it. That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So you got your first deal, like you said. You sort of, were you freaking out at the start? You're sort of obviously not doing a deal before. You're not really sure how to fill it all out. How with the person that you sort of had that was more experienced, how much help was that at the start to get someone to come in and actually help you out?
So much help because he got me on the deal because I wasn't good at ARVs. I wasn't good at anything. I just knew from looking at the videos, they was like, you'll learn in time. Just get the property as low as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got the property for about $40,000. So I didn't have to do a lot of ARV. The guy was pretty stressed out. He had a lot of stuff on him. He owed back taxes. I think he had some child support on him. So he was just looking to get rid of it. And at that point, the guy JV with, I had the property so low, he just took it and ran with it, gave me my little money. I was happy to just get the little money. So through the first deal, I didn't learn well. He did teach me how to properly fill out the agreement because the agreement was trash. So after I sent it to him for so he could view it, so I could assign it to him, he was like, "Bro, this is trash." So he taught me how to fill out something called the Texas Trek. It's like a 9 or 10 page contract, which people don't like. So I still use a 1-page contract to this day. But at least he showed me how to fill out the purchase agreement the correct way.
Yeah, that's cool. And at that point, did you ever think that you were going to end up being someone that specializes in JV? Like down the track, you probably wouldn't have thought that, would you?
No, man, no. This whole investing thing and wholesaling houses seemed mystical. If you never did it, you talk to people and they think it's not real. They're like, man, because I felt that way. I'm like, Barrow, it's no way I can get a house under contract and somebody's going to believe me that I can buy it and I can flip it. So it seems mystical at first, but after you get a couple under your belt, the first one, man, is just seeing it's real, and after that, you just go into go mode, man.
Yeah, it's proof of concept, isn't it? It
Yeah.
blows your mind, and it's proof of concept, and you go, "Well, I've just done it. I still don't believe I've done it, but I've done it." And then did it take a while to build up to get the second, third, fourth deals? Like, did you have
Well,
a gap
actually,
or?
man, the second deal came like 6 months later, which was crazy. The first one I did it, then I started going, and man, as you do one wholesale deal. I'm jobless. A lot of the money has to get spent on marketing, buying lists. Man, 6 months into it, I was about to quit. I was like, dude, I was lucky. You know, the run is over. Go get another job, and all of a sudden, a woman called me because at the time, and I still use Google numbers and things like that. I don't use a lot of systems and things like that. I keep it very simple. A woman just called me out the blue, like, "Are you still interested?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And it was a probate lead. So her husband passed, and nice house, man. And this is what I learned too. You don't have to just wholesale houses in the hood. I've wholesale mansions. I've wholesale properties in very nice neighborhoods, and it was a very nice neighborhood, a lot of land. Put this woman under contract, man, and I had it for 30 days, right? 29th day sold it, man.
Oh,
And that's not a good tactic to use because you always supposed to tell the seller, if things are not looking good. I held out, and 29th day, man, found the buyer, sold it, and then after that one, it was like the seal burst. Then I started doing them back to back to back to back to back, and I did another 18 deals that year.
wow.
From
Yeah.
I think it was like from August to December, did like 18 more. So it was crazy, man. The people start, because I was text messaging. That's my thing, text messaging. And these people that I text messaged months ago, they just start hitting me back, hitting me back, hitting me back, hitting me back, with the music. And I incorporated the music at that time as well.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask next, Dutch. Like, so once you started doing some deals, did you then start doing the music, or did you incorporate that from the start? Where did that sort of come into the journey?
The music came in after my second deal because I realized I can't go 6 months for one deal. So I had to try to make my way stand out differently from everybody else that was trying to do it. I was going to REI meetings, and I don't know if people seen like the music video of the guys in the bear suits and things like that. So
Yeah,
I saw guys doing different tactics, and I was just like, man, what can I do differently that can stand out? And like, I'm in my studio now. I've always done music my whole life. I've done it, as a stress reliever. So I said, when I started making like comedy jingles for like real estate investors. So I started making I made a couple. My first one was called Bandit Signs. I did a bandit sign, just a hook. And I started posting it on Facebook, real estate investor groups. And it started getting like crazy shares. And I thought people were just gonna laugh at it, like, "Oh, that's funny." But some people start saying, "Man, I will bump this." And the light bulb came on. I said, you know what? I should do a whole real estate album. I went straight past single. I said, if I did an album, this would be the best business card I could ever have, because I could just shoot a link to people, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I rap about investing." Shoot a link to people, and not to mention, I'm also a videographer, so I've shoot music videos for local artists for years. So I started shooting my own music videos when I saw the song starting to get traction, and that's when the deals start coming. People just start contacting me for JV deals, and that's what I do now. All of my deals, I started text messaging again just to test the waters on how the marketing is, but 90% of my deals come from other wholesalers.
Yeah, yeah. So you've mastered the it's JV with Dutch in it. You've got yeah, that's the brand, and yeah, it's amazing because, like you said, you tested the waters with one song, but then the D for D album come out and it sort of blew up. Like, I remember when I've only started. I'm in another country. I've started wholesale. I've joined as many groups as I can, and I see this they want too much video, and I'm just like, every group I went into was someone said, check this out, and it was in there, and I got curious. I just loved it, you know. I mean, I'm just like, wow, listen to the lyrics, you know. I mean, like, there's not one wholesaler investor that doesn't, you know, hear those lyrics and they feel it, you know, because they know that they've been through all the stuff, they've been through all the you know, like, it's just amazing. And then I actually started having a look at it, and like I've told you before, REI Till I Die become like a theme song for me. Every time I'm stuck out here and I'm going through some hard times and that, I just kept saying to myself, it's REI Till I Die. I've got to commit. I've got to that. So, you know, you've not only inspired me, you've inspired a lot of people out there with your music. And like you said, it was a really clever, smart branding technique. But you've also touched people with it. So that must be good for you to know that you've actually helped people out with your music.
Man, I mean, to have a talent, something that you can do and you never thought. Like when I was younger, I tried to get signed with major record label deals and things like that. It never happened. But just to be able to bring a passion out that you didn't think was going to be useful, and you put it out, and to receive all the love I received from it, man, it's been amazing, man. And one thing about music, if I start making music to something, because music is a deep passion of mine, it fuels whatever I'm doing. You know, so and it helps me remember things. So a lot of the songs that I did on EMD, I mean D for D, I hadn't even gotten to a lot of these deals yet, but I was just rapping about it, and it's almost like a vision board. And after I start putting stuff in words and putting stuff in song form, man, it just started flooding in, man. And it's been an amazing journey since 2019.
Oh, I could imagine, Dutch. I mean, you're living your dream. You're doing something that's amazing, like, you know, wholesaling, investing, all that sort of stuff. Plus, you've been able to something you're really passionate about all your life, music. You've been able to put the two together. I mean,
Yeah.
you must high five yourself every now and then. Go, man, I'm living the dream. This is awesome. I mean, you know, like you're saying, a lot of music though, it's not easy, is it? There's some hard times in there. You got to stick at it, and you've got to really work at it. But you know, you would put yourself every now and then and go, how did this happen?
Yeah, I mean, one thing is with this business, wholesaling business, you know, it's tough. You're gonna have your tough times, you know. But at the end of the day, it's worth it because you got control, man. You got control of your life. And I tell everybody this: the deals only stop coming if you stop looking. It's always gonna be another deal, man. It's always gonna be another deal. You just have to keep looking, man. And like I said, it get tough sometimes, but it's most definitely worth it. It has to be one of the happiest times of my life right now. You know, and I work way harder than I did when I had a 9 to 5, but it doesn't feel like it. You know, so you just appreciate every dollar. You appreciate having a skill like this for the rest of your life, because once you have this skill and once you know how to do this, man, I mean, deals pop up out of nowhere. 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. You know, it's just having that skill is something that is priceless.
Yeah, and I want to just touch on the JV side of it, Dutch. How did that evolve? Was it from that first deal you had that thought in your mind, oh, well, I can work with someone else, or did you do your own deals after that, and then somehow you went into JV? Like, can you just give us a bit of background about how you become so good at JV?
Oh, pure accident, man. I didn't I didn't even think about it. People start calling me. That's what made me think about it. You know, Dutch, man, a lot of, you know, new investors from other cities, they hit me up on Facebook. Man, could you mentor me? Could you teach me? And I tell them all, it's easier for me to walk you through the deal. You find a property, let me look at it, let me evaluate it. I'll walk you through the deal. And then after this, you can have that skill forever. You can call me if you want to do more deals, but this is a skill you'll have forever. So investors start calling me. I start walking people through deals, you know, taking my portion. They took their portion. They start coming back, want to do more. And I'm like, man, wait a minute. So you telling me I don't have to go out? I don't have to find the properties. I can just market my music have people who are already out in the field actively looking. They just need help getting over that hump of finding buyers and analyzing the properties. I'm not saying it's easier, but now I have more time to work on my social media and music and promote it that way. So I was like, that's what I do. I start just doing JVs, man. That's bring the properties to me. I evaluate them. Not only that, you know, you learn something. I'll tell you, man, look at this. I send you some stuff to go over, some pricing on how to how to comp the property correctly and things like that. So I'm giving value, even if we don't have a good deal, at least they learning something, you know. So, and it's just how I started, man. Like I said, I haven't put a lot of money in marketing in a while. You know, everything has just been my music and my videos. And I think I dropped my last video about 3 or 4 months ago, and I'm still getting leads from wholesalers, you know, without even any new content up. So that's my plan now, and that's my plan going forward. Just continue the music, continue to stay active on social media, and let the deals continue to come in.
Yeah, there's some real lightning bolts, real gold nuggets in there. What you've just said there, Dutch, because and I just stumbled across this. I ended up starting a Facebook group because what I was hearing out there was a lot of people were saying, "Look, I'm really good at acquisitions, but I can't get the contracts done. I can't do this." Other people saying, "I'm really good at contracts, but I'm no good at disposition." And I was seeing a lot of people, and because of the explosion of virtual wholesaling because of COVID,
Hmm.
I'm talking to people, I'm connecting with people, and they're all saying the same thing. And it's exactly what you said. You know, join up forces with other people, collaborate with other people, network with other people, and eventually JV with other people, and bring your skills together. You don't have to do it all by yourself, because a lot of people that try and do it by themselves, they they drop out, don't they, after a period of time if they haven't got success. So, yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
hit on those key points there. Another thing too is learn while you earn. You know, team up with someone that's a couple of years down the track, and like you said, you seem to get caught in analysis paralysis and do all the courses and that for 6 months and take no action. Whereas if you're working, someone comes and works with you,
Yeah.
you're going to teach them on the job. You're going to get them moving and shaking, and there's no better way to learn, is there?
No better way to learn but to just get out there and just do it, man. Just get you some cards made. You are an investor. You don't have to talk to people about wholesaling. People don't understand it. They don't want to understand it. They just want to get their house sold. You are a cash buyer. Just get out there and get busy, you know. And like like you said, because it happened to me. Burnout is real, man. You're out. You're text messaging. You're calling. Taking appointments. You know, you get it's because wholesaling it goes into steps. You know, you got to first get somebody interested. Then you got to get a purchase agreement signed. Then you got to find a buyer. Then you got to find a title company. Then it has to close. So with all those steps, a lot of things can happen. So I've seen a lot of people, and it happens to me. You get something on a contract, it's not over. You find a buyer, it's not over. You get it to title, it's not over. It's not over until it crosses that finish line. And it could be very stressing. It could be a very stressful thing when you get to all of those or half of those steps and it don't fall through. It just it exhausts you, and it really frustrates you when you put in so much work and things don't go well in the middle, because that happens a lot. I've had about 5 deals in the last month to not cross the finish line, you know, and that it hurts, especially when you're getting that close. Good thing I've had a lot of people, you know, bring me deals. I didn't go out and source all these deals. I didn't do all of that work. So I still have the energy to continue. But I can't imagine if I went out and sourced all those deals, got all of that stuff signed, went on burnout, you know. So you have to find other people to work. You don't have to at first, but in the long run, if you want to keep going, it's just best to JV with more seasoned investors.
Yeah, and with that point that you were just saying too, you've got you know, when you first start off, there's so much information you got to take in. I mean,
Yeah.
you just you're about to go to sleep and you're still listening to podcasts. You've been watching YouTube, so to try and fit all that in and then do all the procedures. And I think I heard somewhere that there's 17 things that happen during a wholesale deal from start to finish. 17 different little things in between. sort of broken down. So that's a lot for one person who's brand new to be able to do. So I believe that, Dutch, I think that's the way to go, is maybe just, sort of learn a bit, earn a bit, and then from there, you can always go out in your own 2 years, because you don't want to do nothing for 8 months and then drop out, because that's no good to anyone. You want to stay in the game. So that's awesome. Right. And it's funny because in Dallas, Fort Worth, a few people have said, I've heard it over the journey, that driving for dollars is really big in Dallas for some reason. I've heard it a lot. So did you do that in your early days? Obviously you've got the song, you've got all the songs,
Yeah,
did you go through all that?
The whole first year I drove for dollars. My first year, all I did, and I tell new investors, treat it like a job. I got up for 8 hours a day. I drove for dollars. Went and had coffee, lunch, got back, went and drove for dollars. I treat it like a job. I woke up on time, got out in the field early, and I killed two birds with one stone. I drove for dollars and I placed bandit signs at the same time. So I went out, drove, see a nice corner, stop, put a bandit sign, get in my car, drive, bandit sign, drive. So I was killing, two birds with one stone, and I did that for a whole year. And the deals came. I put it to you like this: everything works. Text messaging, cold calling, driving for dollars, bandit signs, but it's just depending on how aggressive you are with them. Everything works. It's just what fits your personality, what fits you, what fits your schedule. But once you start it, don't let up. Just keep doing it. So yeah, driving for dollars, man, Dallas, Fort Worth. Man, I know I put some miles on my car driving for dollars. Big miles.
Well, actually, I've got a bucket list. When I come out to the States, I've got a bucket list, and you're on it. So I need to, while I get you on the show, I need to ask you a favor. When I hit Dallas, I want to go on my bucket list. I want to go driving for dollars with the man himself, Dutch Jackson. I want to jump in the car, because we just don't have that over here. You don't drive for dollars over here. There's not boarded up houses. It's a completely different real estate market. No wholesaling. So I know it sounds crazy, but I actually want to get out and go driving for dollars. It's something I've always wanted to do. So if I get out there one day, Dutch, can I jump in the rig with you, and we'll go driving for dollars? Put some of your music on, kick back, and go driving for dollars.
Yes, let's do it, man. It's relaxing, man. I like to get up early. I like to get up early though. We'll be out 5 a.m., 6 a.m. out driving for dollars. Because I've noticed, at that time, bandit signs. You put up bandit signs because you're like a bandit in the night. So I get up early and I put my signs out, and when the sun starts coming up, I kind of lay off the signs a little bit, and then I just drive around, find all these different neighborhoods, man, and it's pretty relaxing.
So what you've done is you've dominated your home market, and you can do all these things in your home market. Have you gone virtual with the JVing? So you do a lot of virtual stuff?
I do. I actually do deals here in Dallas and Fort Worth, and I also do deals in my hometown virtually in St. Louis.
Yep.
So St. Louis is one of my markets as well.
Yep. So you do it there. So you've got that covered. And like I said, I've got my wife's family live in. She's got family in Grapevine, which is between Fort Worth and I actually work with a lady, Michelle. Hi, Michelle, who's in Dallas as well. So I'm heading there soon. Dutch, next year I'm going to come out there, and you're on my bucket list. But I just want to get back into the music. We've talked real estate with you, and just one last thing. If any young people are watching, they're starting to get into it. You've said you've made a few mistakes, but what would be your key one or two bits of advice to get started? What would you say to someone that's new that rings you up and says, Dutch, what should I do?
If you want to do this, dedicate yourself. It takes dedication. And I tell anybody, because I've tried so many different things, man. I was just tired of quitting. I'm like, I'm tired of quitting. I'm tired of starting over. I'm tired of, just make sure you want to dedicate yourself. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Not easy, but it's worth it. And if you're brand new, I know with COVID and stuff going on, one big thing that was big for me was REI meetings. I went to a bunch of REI meetings, met a lot of investors, seasoned investors. Got into a lot of Facebook groups, and things like that. And if you want a seasoned investor to work with you versus coming to them asking them to help you, bring them a property, bring them a couple properties to evaluate with you when you come to them. When you come to some show that you have some value. Look, I've been working. I got these properties. Can you help me move them? Just get out there, get properties under contract. I used to do something called D for P, not D for D, but D for P. I was doing driving for practice. I was doing deal. I was taking appointments. A for P. That's what it is. Appointments for practice. It was people who told me that their houses, and I knew the houses were too much, but I went, I took pictures, I talked to them just to get the nervousness out of me about talking to sellers. I just did stuff like that. Just went all out. That's what you have to do. Go all out. Don't worry about what people think about you. Do what you need to do. Think about your reason for why you're doing this. You're trying to get your time back. You're trying to change your life. The reason has to be big to keep you going. That's why I incorporated music, because it's a passion of mine. And that's what keeps me going. So do it. You have to stay dedicated. Stay dedicated. Find a mentor. And just don't have analysis paralysis. Just get out there and start getting stuff under contract. Just start telling people you buy houses. It's that simple. It's that simple. And the more you start doing it, the more the word will spread. And before you know it, in your town, you will be the guy that buys houses. Friends will start coming to you. Family members will start coming to you. And that's how you can start generating these leads. But you just have to be serious about it, dedicate yourself, and just start getting out here. Just start driving for dollars. Start skip tracing. Start calling people. Get that fear out of you, man. Just put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, it's a real mindset thing. And I was going to say to you, the next question was, mindset and all that, but you've pretty much summed it up there. You got to face the fear, don't you? You got to push through the fear first,
Yeah.
and then from there, you've got to surround yourself with some good people that are a little bit further down the track than you, and
Yep.
you've got to constantly work on your belief, don't you, that I can do this and I'm going to become successful. And then I suppose the final thing is you just got to stick at it. You just got to stick at it and ride the wave, the ups and downs, and just stick at it. So that's awesome advice, for anyone starting. And it's not just young people, like someone, in my case, it's done real estate in another country, but then come across and it's a whole different culture and a whole different thing. And I've found that networking with people has been the best thing for me. And that's what you're saying. When you started with your music, your network just expanded, didn't it? It just blew up.
Yeah, man. Once you and whether you use music or whatever you use, once you get out here and you just start networking with people, then you find your go-to buyers, right? You got your go-to people. It becomes easier. I'm in a couple cities. If I get a property, I can call somebody, close something in 14 days, 7 days, because I've worked I have a network now, and that's what make it. That's the hard thing at first. Nobody knows you. No one. But once you get out there, you start spreading the word, people will start knowing you. You meet these buyers and these other investors. It becomes easier when you start networking with others.
Yeah, definitely. So the old saying, your network is your net worth. So you've just got to expand it. And did you have any problem like pushing yourself out there? Was that hard for you, or was that natural to you to meet new people, to talk to new people all the time, to try and expand?
Well, the industry I came from, I had to kind of be a people person, So now just opening up to people, man. And I'm a very social person. That helps, So now I didn't really have a problem, and my videos kind of pushed me out there before I actually, got out there. So my music videos start getting a lot of my my connections all across the country, man. Connections with huge investors. I mean, guys who do 30, 40, 50, 60 deals a month, call me. Hey, Dutch, what's going on, man? How you doing? These are some of my mentors. Some of these guys are doing it. And they just walk me through, Dutch, don't do this, do that, and like I said, the internet, you have the world at your fingertips, literally. You know, don't sleep on the internet. I don't care if it's a funny skit. Put yourself out there. I mean, I think it's going to this. It's already there now. Businesses. I don't see the next 5 years businesses surviving without having an internet presence. You know, so you might as well just jump in now. You're gonna have to do it if you want to be a business owner. Get out there, get that social media presence, and just start networking.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I see that as the future. And like I said, a lot of people I spoke to the last couple of months, it just seems to be the vibe out there. And I
Yeah.
think it's come off the wave of that whole things blowing up virtually around the country. So many people are working in so many different markets now. You need people on the ground. You need to form relationships. So, yeah, that's
Yes.
awesome. And the big question is when's the second album coming out, Dutch?
Well, the thing is, I have a second album already out. I got D for D.
Oh,
I
you got
got,
another?
I got EMD,
Oh,
Ernest Money.
EMD. Yep. All right, third album.
And I'm actually working on another album now. And I know this is a real estate. This is a real estate video. But I've also the last 9 months I've been teaching myself day trading, stocks, forex, things like that. So I'm actually working on a trading album simultaneously as I'm working on my real estate album. So
Yep.
I want to do the same thing with trading that I did with real estate. Just
Yep.
create music, put it out there, start gaining, mentors and stuff that way. But the new album will be out in about 4 months.
Oh, that's cool. Actually, that was one of your questions later on. You're ahead of the game. You just keep hitting it before I ask the questions. I noticed on your Facebook that you're into trading and a few other things. That was going to be, what are you up to now? What's the other thing? So you've just answered that question. Now, I don't know if you can see in the background, I put the sign up for you, Alphas Only, from your T-shirt from REI. That was
Shout out to Max Maxwell. That's Max Maxwell.
Yeah. No, I was actually going to try and get a shirt made in time, but my niece doesn't, but I didn't have enough time, so I had to just go on the TV screen. But that was another thing. Like, you've obviously, because of the music, that's launched you up, and you've got to meet a lot of people that are sort of been in the industry, that's successful in the industry. I keep running over videos all the time of, an interview pops up with Dutch Jackson with, like the other day it was Brent Daniels, and I hadn't seen that one. And you do a song for Brent, you TTP, talk to people. And then I'm watching the other day, and I had never seen this interview. It was Joe McCall interview, and I'm like, this guy's everywhere. He's bigger than these guys. Like, so like you said, putting yourself out there and you took a risk. You could have got ridiculed. You never know, do you? That's actually got you to hang out with people that are at the highest level in the industry. So that, I mean, your story is a marketing genius, isn't it? Really, like you probably didn't think it was going to end up that way, but when you look back now, you must think, wow, how did I pull that off?
I know, man. It's been an amazing journey, man. And like I said, you just one thing we do, man. I don't know if you have to have your back against the wall to just do things, but I tell people all the time, man, don't wait till your back is against the wall. Just do it. Get out there. A lot of people don't try things. I try lots of different things, and everything, man, and just never. I call it sleeping on yourself. Don't sleep on the power you have within you. Don't sleep on your potential. We go into this dormant stage that the 9 to 5s put us in, where we just comfortable in misery. People be miserable, but since it's comfortable and they're familiar with the misery, they don't change it. Like, man, you got one life, man. You got to get out here and live your life. It goes fast, and I just don't want anybody dictating my life. And I'm gonna do anything I can to keep control of my life.
Yeah, so that's another good point, Dutch, is don't wait until your back's against the wall.
No.
Do it right now, and don't surround yourself with yes men or yes people. Go out and find someone that, like, is an accountability partner that's going to say, listen, man, you need to do this. You're not doing this. You need not someone that's going to be too brutal, but someone that's going to actually be truthful to you and say, look, I think, because there is a lot of fear at the start, and I've been in a lot of groups and that along, already in my short time, and you just see the amount of fear that's there. People got all these skills, they've got all this talent, but the fear's holding them back. So you almost need to get around someone that just pushes you through that fear at the start and keeps you accountable. You know, that will look you in the eye and say, man, it's not that, it's that's holding you back. So, I mean, that is a key point. And don't wait until you're broke and your back's against the wall. Do it now. Jump out now and start doing it.
Yeah. Now. Because when you wait till you're back against the wall, yeah, you may prosper, but it's a lot harder when you're unemployed. You don't have money from that 9 to 5 coming in to help you with marketing. It's very stressful to try to stay out on your own, and I gotta make this happen. I gotta make this happen. Well, if you're preparing yourself before that happens, you get some momentum. Like me, 4 months before I got laid off, I had already got the ball rolling. So when I got laid off, I already had a list, text messaging people. It just kind of, it fell that way. But I'm glad I was already 4 months in getting the ball rolling before, I got laid off. And, I was off the ground running, man.
Yeah, I've got all your Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff up on the screen at the moment because I want people to reach out to you. Like you've got a great presence. That's another lesson for people. You've got a great social media presence. You're everywhere. You've not just with your music. You've got all these channels. I'm just gonna change it across now to you've actually got a course. I didn't know this, so I want to ask you a little bit about your course. Is that relatively new, or is that something?
Yeah, I put the course out about 4 months ago. So it's real estate wholesaling, and I wanted to put a course out for beginners, and I also incorporated all my music videos. Because people learn through music. So I put the course out. I'm giving everybody the game from once you're starting out. I'm showing you free ways to do things. I'm showing you paid ways to do things. I got interviews with Deal Machine on there, going through their software, Prop Stream, going through their software. So a lot of people, and this one thing, a lot of people will call you for your help. But then I found myself doing more than they were, and you get a lot of people who say they want to do this, but when stuff starts to get rough, so it becomes bottom line, it becomes a big time waster for me anyway. So I said, you know what, I'm going to put out a course. So if people come to me, if they don't have a deal that they want to work with me and they just want to learn, they want a mentor, there you go, $199. You can go buy a course. And I could be your mentor as long as you need me to be, So I put the course out for beginners, and I just put everything in there. The stuff I struggle with, how to find good properties. Because one thing I struggled with when I first started, and I tell all the new investors this, I started just going get everything under contract. I was just, you selling? Okay, get it under contract, And I quickly found out that every zip code isn't desirable to investors to wholesale. Some properties are worth way more. So I put in the course on how to seek those good areas that investors are interested in, that you can get something under contract where you won't have problems selling it, and just things like that, the little stuff that a lot of people don't talk about.
Well, I'm definitely going to get it. The more interviews I do, the more courses I'm buying now. I'm like, oh man, but for that type of money, and this is what people don't get. For that type of money, I can spend, if I went out on a night on the town, I'd spend way more than that. So you got to invest in yourself. You got to say, would you want to go out to a fancy restaurant, eat a little piece of meat that big and spend $500 for the night? Or do you want to buy something that can turn into big money? And I've had a few people on the podcast that their courses are that cheap. And I go, I can't not buy it. That's 2 cups of coffee. Like, you've got to put it in perspective. And what you're getting is it's like, back in the day, you'd buy a book. You're getting someone's life story wrapped up for not very much money. You're getting all their trials and tribulations. You're getting all their experience. Like you said, Dutch, you tell people how to do low budget marketing from the start. So it's very good for someone to get into. You can always go to, 50,000 text messages 3 years down the track, but you get them in the game. And that's what I like about a lot of especially that, that sort of money, you can't go wrong. And so I'm going to grab it anyway. But that's because I'm a fan. But but no, I encourage people to go out because, like I said, people say, you don't want to become a course collector and that. They're all in my computer. Anytime I need any course that I've ever done, I just go into the computer and I've refreshed. I've got the contracts there. I've got that. That's actually called investing in your business and investing in resources. So Yes.
I like to, I like to, I like to add. I mean, courses changed my life. Like, I invested in my first course. It was an eBay drop shipping course in 2017. I think I paid $300 for it and made like 50 grand off that course. And it's been like that for me. Like, I purchased wholesaling courses. I've always quadrupled my money. Now, granted, every course isn't a good course, right? But you spend this $100 here, this 150 here, this 200 till you find the right course, and YouTube too, man. YouTube and courses have been my life. You know, they have changed my life more than anything. So don't be afraid to put that 200, 300, 400, $500 towards something for some education that nobody can ever take away from you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a no-brainer.
And key point, do your due diligence and make sure it's the right course for you. You know,
Yes.
that's the key point. And it's if you do any mentorships and that, you've got to, if you're going to invest that money, you've got to do your due diligence. That's the key point. Like you said, doesn't matter if you get a collection of, you know, you want to learn lease options, you want to learn this, you want to learn that, get it. But make sure if you're going to spend that hard-earned money, do your due diligence. So, so I've got it on the screen, so I want people to check that out. Go and check out Dutch's course. And I've got to wrap it up, Dutch, but there's a couple of personal things. I'm going to ask you a few personal things. How we actually met was through my great Aussie mate, Warren C., who's a Facebook friend with you. And we've got to talk about the elephant in the room. Because I was such a massive fan, my boys are into hip hop and they're into rap. And when COVID hit, they did like a gym under the house. They couldn't go to gym, and they're down there and they've got their music on and it's real hardcore. And I'd go down there with my phone playing Dutch Jackson saying, that's no good, mate. You need to be listening to this, learning about real estate, boys, you know. So it became a bit of a joke, you know. But at the end of the day, so what happened is I actually come and work because I work down here during the night so I don't keep everyone awake. I actually put too much playing in the background, and I did a bit of a mock-up, a bit of a funny mock-up to send to my sons. So I've sent it to them, and which you've seen since. I've sent it to them, and they've said, Dad, if that ever gets out in the public, you are that embarrassing, we're going to divorce you. we will get away. So I kept it in the archive, just in the messenger thing. But one day, about 6 months later, I forgot about it. I sent it to my Aussie mate, Warren C., and Facebook friend. So he just goes and posts it straight on Dutch's Facebook page. And he texts me back and said, I'm Facebook friends with Dutch. I've just put on his page, and I've just, that feeling you get where you go, oh no, And what I loved, Dutch, was your reaction to it and all your followers' reaction. I've never seen so many laughing faces at this peanut who's doing some ridiculous. I had the laptop and I'm rapping and I'm doing all this stuff. It was great to see that, like you just had from that point on, I thought, this guy's cool. He's got a great sense of humor. It's probably, and my boys found out, and they went into hiding for a while. They said, we can't show our face in public. But the moral of the story is that, it's probably not a video that you'd put out on any of your publicity, but that's how I met you. And we started communicating from there. We become Facebook friends, and I just really appreciate, your music. I love your music, and I just ask people to go a layer deeper and listen to the lyrics and the hidden lyrics. It's just amazing. So I just think I appreciate you for not blocking me, and when you saw that video, blocking me and saying, no, I don't want this guy as a Facebook friend. He can't rap for a start, and he can't dance, so we'll get rid of him. But and that's just led to that, and through the grace of God, I end up with the one and only Dutch Jackson on my podcast. So I appreciate you coming in, Dutch. I want you to bring out another album, keep up the good work, and like I said, on my bucket list, I'll when I'm heading over to DFW, I'm going to hit you up with a message, and I'd love to go driving for dollars with you and just hang out with you for half a day doing some driving for dollars. But thanks for coming on the podcast. It's been really educational, and like I said, you add another dimension to it with not just real estate investing, but the music. And you're proven that if you follow your dreams, even if it's hard, and you follow your passions, your dreams can come true. So I congratulate you, and I wish you all the best going into 2022. Have a great festive season, and I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, my brother. And before we go, that clip you sent me, that will be the intro to my next music video. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
well,
put it
actually,
on. I'm gonna put it on there. You're gonna go viral. So I'm just
oh,
letting
the funny thing is, and I've told you, I don't even remember this, but we've been locked down in Melbourne with COVID for a long time. We're allowed out now, so I'm going to head to Fitzroy, and Fitzroy is got street art everywhere. And I used to have two guys that worked for me that were graphers, beautiful graphers, right? So they do street art. Now I've contacted them. I've sent them all your music. They love it. I mean, these guys love it, right? They're real. They're full on. They grew up, on the streets. They used to do trains. They used to get in a little bit of trouble with the law, but they've grown up and they're good men now. But we're going to go down to Fitzroy and we're going to do a video, sort of to imitate REI till I die. And we're going to send you, because like you said, you can actually cut on that, and I'm going to send it to you. So that's my commitment to you. You've committed to driving for colours. I'm going to go and do that with some of the guys that are probably suit the image a bit better than I do. Like I don't really suit the image, because with that video, my son said, "Dad, you look like a middle-aged record executive that's out of touch, and you're trying to ride the wave of someone else." And I said, "Well, looks can be deceiving." But anyway, I'm waffling now. I digress. But once again, it's just been a pleasure to meet you and know you. And I love your giving nature and your jovial nature, Dutch. So I wish you the best for next year. And I'm waiting for big things to come. Another album. And I'll probably reach out to you about the Dallas-Fort Worth JV market, seeing that I'm back in that market again. So
sounds wonderful,
awesome.
brother.
Have a great Christmas. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for blessing a lot of people with your music. It's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, well, check out now, guys. You've been thunderstruck by the one and only Dutch Jackson. So Merry Christmas, everyone, and we'll probably get, hopefully we'll get a bit of Dutch's music on next year, getting back on next year, and see what he's up to mid-year. So Merry Christmas, and we'll sign out from the Thunder from Down Under and Dutch Jackson.